This is RTP. This is RTP180.
Thank you so much, and thank you RTP180 for having me, and for Morgan for inviting me. It's an honor to be with these members of the arts community. That was very inspiring. Thank you, guys. And what I'd like to explore with you tonight is the potential of immersive technologies. I'm here to, unlike you, I'm here to shamelessly plug what we do, but explore the power of immersive technologies to transport students to art museums all over the country, all over the world, and to transport museum visitors into the world of art. So I want to share 3 experiments that we've done at the North Carolina Museum of Art and a little bit about what we've learned about it until I hear the little chime go off. But first, I'm curious how many of you guys have been to NCMA? Well, that's great. That's awesome. It's great to see that. Sometimes when I'm across the state, I don't see that. We have temporary exhibitions, permanent collection, and a 164-acre park. It's a wonderful place to innovate new ways to engage audiences, and I work with some brilliant people. We first dipped our toes in the VR pool a couple of years ago with the Ansel Adams exhibition. We wanted to immerse our visitors into the national parks where Adams photographed. And so we worked with Derek Rose from Wild Eyes, who goes to the national parks. His mission is to capture the 360 footage to take people into the national parks while it's still there. And then Mike Wallace, who then edited this into a virtual reality experience. And we prototyped this at 2 museum events, and we're surprised by what we observed. We were expecting for our older audience, our core audience, to be a little bit more hesitant about this technology, but found that they were just as curious and excited, and actually found they were more transformed from the experience of being in this virtual environment than even the younger audience. So we were excited to see if we could put this into a gallery experience. So last summer, our manager of interpretation, Emily Kotecki, took off with a team with omnidirectional cameras to the New Mexican landscapes that inspired Georgia O'Keeffe. Here she worked again with Mike and Derek, and here you see their tour guide from the Ghost Ranch giving them a private tour of these spaces. They went to and captured these 360 footage, combined it with audio from Georgia O'Keeffe talking about her work, and then projected it on 4 walls in the galleries for the Georgia O'Keeffe exhibition this past fall. Just curious, how many of you had an opportunity to see this gallery in person? That's great. If you didn't, you can still see this online. We received so many positive remarks from this from teachers that wanted to share this with their students. We repurposed the video to our website, NCMA Learn. But we also found that it didn't really suit the classroom experience, because we really were converting an experience that was meant to be a gallery experience online. Video was too long. It wasn't as rich enough of a learning experience. So our 3rd prototype that I'm sharing with you was actually created to be online from the original design and onset. And we found our inspiration from a live session that we did from the Conservation Lab in the fall. This is our coordinator of digital learning, Camille Toole, who provided access. You know, school groups don't get to go in the Conservation Lab. So this is a place that's usually behind the scenes, and there's so many rich opportunities to explore art and science. So, for example, this one, like through science, through X-ray technology, we can learn about artistic intent. Here you can see from this Jordan's painting how a figure was actually eliminated in the final work of art. See, there's so many great stories within our conservation lab. We really had to cull down after many, many meetings between education and conservation, like what is the work of conservation? About analyzing art, protecting works of art, and restoring works of art that we could highlight with, say, just 10 hot spots, looking around the lab and exploring it. So we worked again with Mike Wallace. Here you see him in the lab and doing some video footage with the omnidirectional camera with material analysis, and this is Jill hiding sort of in our corner spot, so she's not part of the virtual tour. But we wanted this to be an experience that was sort of friendly and welcoming. So we worked with Corey Riley, our object conservator, to provide a welcome to students, to talk about like what is a conservator, what kind of career that is, and then that she guided them through several different hot spots where they could then click on an area within the lab, pull up video footage, and find out more about that particular story. But we wanted this to be user-driven, unlike our first two experiments, sort of a choose-your-own adventure. So we sort of worked on taking these different stories and sort of line them up with objects around the lab that students could then click and access this information. For instance, in this one, you can hear Conservator Perry Hurt talking about how he uses this thing called a Mona laser to clean varnish off of old master paintings. And this was by far, we prototyped this, or beta tested it technically, with 3 different high schools in the area, and the Mona laser was their favorite part of the whole thing. I mean, it's just cool to say Mona laser. But you can see these. This was not even on the website when I shared it with Amanda last week. It has just been freshly published to NCMA Learn, where you can actually see both of these videos now at learn.ncartmuseum.org, and how to find them, because it wasn't online last week when I shared this PowerPoint. You can just search for 360 videos or look for 360 videos from our drop-down menu here. We're really hoping that this is the beginning of a series of all kinds of videos that transport students behind the scenes of the museum into the park, into the gallery, and explore all the possibilities of things that they can access. Thank you so much for having me.